So there's like an epidemic of unreasonable expectations among small business owners and marketing companies. Like, I'd say the majority of marketing companies out there who are selling SEO, advertising, whatever, they are operating on an old paradigm. And it's the same paradigm that all the business owners are still operating in. And that is like how 20 years ago you could go pay for Google ads, advertise on Google, and get just tons of customers. And you could find like that one tactic or that one, marketing technique that would just get you all the work you need. And the reason that was the case was because 15 years ago, there was, there was hundreds or thousands of people going to Google to find a contractor, but there was only like 3 contractors running ads. So they just cleaned up. They got so much business from it. But nowadays, there's almost as many contractors running ads as there are customers out there. And so the days of doing one thing are over. And what most marketing companies operate at like a really low level. And so they never get to see like what businesses are doing at a high level. But like construction companies, local service businesses that are at the top of their market, like the top 3, they're doing all of the marketing and lead gen things that you can do. If a company spends $20,000 a month on marketing, maybe they spend 3 grand on SEO, 7 grand on Google ads, 5 grand on local service ads, a few thousand on buying leads from Angie, Thumbtack, whatever, a few thousand on Facebook ads. And the way that we manage those campaigns or those marketing departments is we just measure the results from each channel independently and figure out how many leads did we get, how many appointments, how many deals did we close, how much money did we make. And we look at that every month and we make adjustments to the budget of where the resources go. But the point is, like, we're doing all of the things. And any company that's trying to continuously grow beyond where they're at and be at the top of their market, they're going to get to a point where they can't get any more leads for what they're doing. And they either need to expand on the services that they offer and advertise, or expand on the service areas that they cover. So do more things or cover a bigger area. But as far as like marketing goes, like, you're pretty much tapped out in what you can do. There's only like 5 to 10 reliable ways to get leads these days. And most of them are on Google because everyone knows that's where you go to find stuff. And so the big companies have figured that out, but most people are still operating under the impression that, if I could just, this marketing company called me and said they could get me to the top 3 of Google and I'll get all the leads I need. All I have to do is give them $2,000 a month. And like, that's just not how it works anymore. If you're in any kind of populated area or competitive market, you can't just do one thing. You have to do all of the things. And when you're going from 0 to 1, you can't just jump in and do all the things because you can't afford it. So you have to start with what is going to be most reliable, consistent, and profitable, and work your way up the food chain until you can get to the point where you're able to do all of the things profitably. So, I was just talking to a guy yesterday. He's in a super competitive market. He has like over 50 companies just like his within 5 miles of his location. And he's spent like $3,000 on SEO. And he's really pissed off that he's not getting a bunch of calls. And I can use there's tons of third-party tools out there. I can use tools to see like how well he ranks compared to his competition. And I can see that he's beginning to rank a little bit, but he's not yet in a place where he's able to win all the time. And while he'll get a call here and there, at the current level that he's operating, he won't get that much volume. But he thinks he should. He thinks, like, I don't want to be too harsh, but he comes off as like entitled of like, I paid this much money, like I'm entitled to get calls. And you're not. Like, you're not entitled to win. Business is a competition, and you're competing against companies that probably spend 3,000 a month for the last 10 years. And so if you could just come in and win for a few grand, like, well, you could 20 years ago, but you can't anymore because people did that, and now it costs more and it takes more time, and you just have to be better than everyone else. And so, this rant is for all of the contractors and business owners out there trying to get from 0 to 1, like trying to find one reliable way to get leads. When you find a way, which you will if you keep trying, it's not going to be the only thing you ever do. You have to do all of the things. You have to get better at it. You have to understand it. You have to get comfortable investing money. You have to track your sales. Like, you have to do all this stuff. And it's not easy, and most people don't want to do it, but that's just your choice. You either do the stuff that you need to do to win, or you don't win. Like, it's your choice to make. But throwing a couple $1,000 at something and hoping that everything gets better isn't enough anymore. And that's just the way it is. So big companies are doing all the things. It's almost as easy to go from 1 to 10 as it is to go from 0 to 1. And most of you guys out there are going from 0 to 1. So, you got to buckle down, tune into YouTube channels like mine. There's a dozen other ones, people like me who just talk about this stuff all the time. Listen to it over and over again. Like, you have to learn this. There's no option. Unless you have a ton of money and you can hire someone like me to come in and just do all this stuff for you. Like, you need to learn this stuff, and it's super important that you understand how the game works so that you aren't taken advantage of by the 90% of marketing and lead generation companies out there who they don't know how the game really works. And I'll just end it with, if there's a company that calls you over and over again and sends you a bunch of emails trying to sell you stuff, I would be weary of them. Because if they're spending all their time trying to chase you down and get your business, it means that they're not spending their time taking care of the customers they have. Any company who's really good doesn't have to cold call everybody to try to get their and try to like oversell them and promise things that are impossible. So there's no way around it. You need to understand this stuff, educate yourself so that you don't get preyed upon by these marketing companies who probably don't understand the stuff themselves. And if you're serious about growing, you've got to look at the companies who are already at the top and look at what they're doing. They're doing everything. So look at what they're doing and emulate them and go one step at a time and one day at a time, and you'll get there. If you're going through this and you want to get a little bit of professional help, go to my website. You can schedule a 15-minute call with me to pick my brain. I'll spend 15 minutes with you answering every question you have and doing my best to help you get a jump start on this. So chuckthecontractor.com, use the calendar, schedule a 15-minute call with me, and I'll talk to you soon.